The beautiful game. A game that brings 90 minutes of happiness, euphoria, sadness, and anger to those who watch. It is the sport that brings family, friends, and community together. The start of 2020 was met with the COVID-19 pandemic.
Considering declaring a state of emergency in Tokyo following a rise in COVID-19 infections.
Japan doubled the efforts to contain the outbreak, saying aggressive measures should still be
opened up this summer will be postponed until 2021.
Football allowed kids to go out and play, groups of mates to meet up and have a drink, and provided a solid 90 minutes of entertainment and joy to the whole country. And the national lockdown and cancellation of the football leagues came with some severely negative results. The restart of football only saw the Premier League and Championship being resumed, with League One, 2 and National Leagues being stopped and their final league tables being decided on points per game. With no more games being played and no fans entering the grounds to generate income, the pandemic began to have severe effects on the less financially stable clubs of the lower leagues. Over the next few days, we will be talking to people rooted to National League team Wrexham AFC.
Hi, I'm in Wrexham today to have a chat with the community and how COVID has affected football. I'm just outside the ground where Wrexham play, the racecourse ground, and also the pub, the Turf, where a lot of Wrexham fans go in.
Tricky for every football club, not just Wrexham. Thankfully, we were run under the Supporters Trust as a very well-run club, had money in the bank.
How has the pandemic affected you with no football going on and obviously pubs being closed?
Well, you know, I'd be lying if I didn't say it wasn't a challenge, but what I would say, and I'm certainly no Tory, but what I would say is that the governments have been pretty damn good to pubs. You know, there's certainly industries out there that have struggled where some publicans and restaurateurs. They've been pretty generous, the UK government and the Welsh government, when it comes to finances. With that said, we certainly haven't been given the money we would have made had we been trading, especially on the back of the news with what we just discussed. But they've been good, and obviously I have the food business on the car park, and I'm very, very fortunate. It's taken me 13 years in this pub to build up a really good relationship with the community, and we give a lot back, so we get a lot in return. So if this is closed, as you've seen yourself today, you know, the food trailer just is 8-9 hours a day non-stop. So it's been difficult in the pub. I understand that, you know, a lot of landlords and landladies wouldn't have had it as anything like that I've had to fall back on. I might have had to work for that, but, you know, that's a fall back on, whereas a lot of people wouldn't have had. So yeah, I mean, it's very difficult, but I have to sort of touch on the fact that I've got great support, and when we were open for a month or two at a time, we were chocker every day. There's people dying, so I'm certainly not going to worry about losing a few quid. It is what it is, isn't it? You get through it, and we are nearly through it. So if we can get the remaining few million people, it sounds daft to say that, vaccinated, then hopefully, you know, come the summer months, we can all get back to doing what we enjoy.
So can you just give us an insight what it's like to play with no fans at the moment?
Yeah, obviously it's not great. It's surreal, really. It just makes games feel a little bit can feel like a training session in a way. Obviously we want to get them back in. I don't know if can affect some lads in a bit of way, like maybe you don't go in for the tackle as much, or you don't, just the atmosphere sometimes can push you over the line, and without that sometimes it can be hard to create a tempo in the game, and but you just got to try and do the best you can.
Yeah. So do you feel like that affects your mentality on the pitch as yourself or as a team?
It can do. I mean, it's obviously a lot harder. Lads have got to work a bit harder to create their own tempo, which can be hard. But once you do get it going, I think once you get into the heat of the moment of the game, then you put it to one side and you don't really realise it. But when you first start in a game and you can realise how quiet it is in a stadium, it can be tough.
Yeah. How do you feel the regulations have affected you as a player? Do you feel they're a lot tighter than they were before and a bit too harsh, or?
Do you mean the regulations of COVID?
Yeah, so with COVID and stuff.
In the game situation, no, it's no different once you actually get over crossing that white line. But obviously before games we're obviously different dressing rooms. We have to travel to games separate sometimes, and when you go to away ground, you're not in the dressing room now. You can be getting changed in a sports centre or in the bar down the road, so it's not ideal. But once you get out onto the pitch, there's no real regulations.
Okay, do you feel like you're going to get promoted this season? You are currently sat in 5th.
Yeah, we're looking good. We're getting stronger and stronger, and we're all hopeful. Yeah, that we're in the right spot to go and do well.
Luke sat down over video call with Wrexham superfan Alex Wilding.
At the start of the pandemic, obviously it was just as scary for us as what it was for other clubs, whether we would survive the whole thing with not having fans and stuff. And then when the first lockdown last year started to ease, some clubs in England were allowed fans, as in Wales we were told no, so that instantly put us at another disadvantage. So obviously that was more concerning because of people obviously getting revenue and we weren't allowed. And then we were told we weren't entitled to the National League funding because we're Welsh, even though we're in that league, which is bizarre. So everything was going against us, and then all of a sudden you get Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney come to save the day and put us in probably the best financial situation we've been in for God knows how long. And saves the day, literally, I think.
Reynolds and his buddy Rob McElhenney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia decided to buy the team together. They say they saw a chance to turn around a team and a town that's been on the decline for decades.
We believe that your club, it's a sleeping giant. You know, you have a wonderful and incredibly storied history.
We're honored and humbled that you're even considering this, and I personally see a really bright future together, and I hope you all feel the same.
Obviously, it's a big shock to Hollywood stars coming in and buying a club like Wrexham. Like, it was a shock to the whole footballing world, to be honest. But what does it mean as a Wrexham fan to have them two come in?
The club was becoming quite a toxic place. The fans were divided. So for Ryan and Rob to come in when they did, it's like a fairy tale and such. You know, it's united the whole club. But as a fan who's only known non-league, it's everything. It still doesn't feel real. I just want to get them over here because they say we won't get them out the pub, and I'll buy them a pint.
We have listened to some outstanding opinions regarding Wrexham AFC from its fans, community, and players. The pandemic rattled the roots of football, and the hundreds of lower league clubs, Wrexham included, were drastically impacted by it. Yet the support of Wrexham's community held on tight. On June the 17th, Project Restart came into effect, and the world saw the greatest game returned.